So how about the rest of this Canadian division, though? Isn't it a treat that we get to fucking witness this shit through like it's such a special, unique thing that'll likely never happen again?
It's it is legitimately like the stuff you hear from your parents and stuff and grandparents, like, oh, back in the day we watched the original six. This is almost it's the original six, except it's our version of it. And yes, I realize you're not going to win the cup. But the most passionate fan bases are above the border, and coast to coast, we're all nuts. So the fact that whoever comes out of this, and Ottawa aside, 6-3 Edmonton. So Ottawa aside, you have like you have six competitive Canadian teams that will go for it, and
Yeah,
you need to get through them to actually make it. Like it's insane the fact that we're actually for once, man, gonna crown Canada's team. Legitimately gonna crown Canada's team. Fuck it, and that's why I won it, so I can look at everybody and be like, Canada's team, 2021. Who was it? And that's legitimately it's the only time we can do it.
just have that in the pocketbook, ready to go. And
Ready
it's
to go.
we're so fortunate that the Habs are in the position that they are now in their build that we have what should be one of the strongest teams in this division. And they've started with the Leafs just absolutely torching it. And I mean, I'll give it to the Leafs. I wasn't confident in what they did in the offseason, but so far it seems to be working out. We'll see how it goes long term through the season. I'm still not sure they're built for the playoffs. And then the other thing too is some of these other teams at Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, they've started really slow, but they faced all the same teams. And I think some of those teams that are lower in the standings right now are much better than what they've played to so far. It's I
Yeah,
think
it's
the Habs and Leafs could run away with it, but I think it'll end up being tight still.
I think, you know, teams have flaws when you go through the list. I mean, like Calgary, as well as they played last night. Oh, there's the other part of B&B right there.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club. You don't want to see me do that. I'll be on the couch there, lying down, and be like, "Oh God, help me." But you look at so let's start through the West. Vancouver, they're built well, but they are two lines and they're done after that. They lost Markstrom. Markstrom is the best like volume goalie out there. He's gone. He's with Calgary now.
Yeah.
So Vancouver to me, they're good. They'll do okay. They'll have their games against Ottawa and they'll pack their goals in and they'll do okay. Get to Calgary. Calgary is a good team, but fuck, if without Markstrom last night, that game would not have been 2-0. It would have probably been a Habs win. We wouldn't be singing the tune we're singing. We'd be singing what we're 6-0-2.
Yeah.
That's what we'd be doing. Calgary's a good spot. Calgary can contend. They're in that top four position for me.
Yeah. Because they do have Markstrom. He'll be there with them
Oh
doing
fuck
that
yeah,
for most of the
yeah,
season. And I think out of the rest of the teams in the Canadian division, Calgary actually does have some depth. They have some toughness with the skill, and I
yeah.
think that he is good enough. And then you add Markstrom in there, and then
Perfect.
the Vancouver Canucks. Um,
Ooh.
I want to like the Vancouver Canucks. I love their top six. I
Oh
like Brandon
man.
Sutter in the bottom six too. Yeah, this is the Albertan in you coming out, and I like the decor with Quinn Hughes, but it's true that Quinn can't defend. And I think that the wild card here would be Thatcher Demko and net, how he performs. Holtby, surprising how his career has gone so far, too. The end here.
It's you know what? Like, I don't. I'm not gonna harp on you for enjoying Vancouver. Like, let's be honest. You look at everything for them, like the whole like the new core coming up: Besser, Horvat, Hughes, Pedersen, Demko coming in. Tyler Myers, who I actually like. Yeah, sorry for the
So do
hit.
I. I do
Everyone's
too.
like, oh, he's, you know, what bothers me. They're like, oh, he's -5. I'm so happy. Like, fuck his stats. Like, screw you. Like, the guy's an actually good. He's a good hockey player. Like enough. Like, he stupid hit, but move on. It's for me. It is the Albertan coming out at me now. It's the fact that if you're if you like or support or just like you're okay with an Albertan team, you hate Vancouver. That's what it is. That's just the same. It's like
I
Toronto
love it.
West.
Yeah, I love that you're like true to that too.
Oh,
And
I
it's
just
funny you say that because growing up, I absolutely loved watching the Canucks a late game out east here, starting at 10 or 11, and I was hooked on Asland and Bertuzzi, and Net and Salo. So that's why I like the Vancouver Canucks, and their rival is the Calgary Flames, and that's why nice. That's why I would pick if I had to pick between the Oilers and Flames, I'd go Oilers just because of that Vancouver Calgary rivalry over the years. That's another one that'll be fun here in this Canadian division.
it will be, and especially the fact that like both teams are all this like inbred version of each other. Like Calgary's just this nasty. Like you're looking at players like we were already screwed up about like Hamonic, like Tanev.
Yeah,
Um,
just
uh,
switching up back and forth, Markstrom.
yeah, Mark. There's one more on their fourth line. Levo, I think he plays for Calgary now. Josh
Yeah,
Levo. And I'm just like, Jesus, like I can't. Because like you're programmed to hate these players after a while, and then all of a sudden they're part of the team that's here. You're like, oh, okay. But Vancouver, I do like their chances, but they're the team that gets hot and they kind of go. And if they don't, we saw what happens when they hit the Habs. And I think we'll find out tomorrow. It'll be better games and they'll be closer games. I just don't know if they're going to be able. I guess it depends what goal. It depends what carry price we have tomorrow. To be honest, like he's rounding into form. Good luck to Vancouver because Montreal's going to be fired up. But Vancouver's a team. Yes, they're another one. They should challenge for top four. It's the Edmonton one. Like, did you mention Edmonton? You think Edmonton can kind of go?
For me,
Yeah.
Edmonton, I just think like the goaltending and Koskinen has actually come around here in the last few games, but just they don't have the goaltending tandem that some other teams do in the Canadian division. I like some of their defenders. Like I love Darnell Nurse. I even like Adam Larson, but Clefbaum being out kills them. And at forward, like all they have is McDavid and Draisaitl. Maybe Yamamoto now, but
Yeah.
it's questionable.
Matt, I saw a tweet today. I think it was Spittin' Chicklets, and they said if you can hold McDavid and Draisaitl to 1 point, you'll win. If you give him more than that, you're fucked, or something like that. Like you lose. And I was like, yeah, we know we managed to keep them down. I
I
just
think
checked the
that's the
score.
thing too. I think that's the thing too. Playing them so much, where the Habs have now they know they can shut them down.
Yeah,
I think that's going to hinder the Oilers, and I think it'll be the same with other teams that face them too. They'll get used
yeah.
to facing these two guys. They'll know how to shut them down. They won't have anything else to offer on top of that. Because of that, I'm just thinking maybe Edmonton falls out of the top four, and I'm hoping Vancouver is one of the teams that pops in. Winnipeg to me is a fucking complete wild card too, because they just keep getting it done despite the holes in their roster.
And the trades. Like
Yeah,
God knows how they're going to end up. I mean, I'm with you on the Edmonton thing. Like Koskinen, like Mike Smith was kind of like not a savior, but he was like he's neat. He's like their Kincaid, except their price is not a price. He's a
he's a
what is
Koskinen.
he? He's Koskinen. Sorry, Edmonton fans, if you're
Yeah,
watching this. But like Edmonton, yes, very much is at risk to kind of fall out, especially when you're doing these series style plays, which is what we've been harping on. If you're a Montreal fan, you've all said it. Our team is built for matchups, playoff style matchups all
yeah.
year. We are. And Vancouver players and fans will probably tell you that. Edmonton, not so much. But Winnipeg, oh man, they are a wild fucking card.
Who do you like with Winnipeg?
Oh, I love as my hockey pool shows, I love Kyle Connor. I love and I know and no disrespect to the East Coast Nick Ehlers, teammate of McKinnon.
Yep.
But Kyle Connor, man, just he's just that player that everyone's like, oh, trade Connor, keep lining. I remember the offseason when the trade rumors are going on. There's a lot of like Habs fans passionate to get a goal scorer, and it's like, oh, get Connor for Juleson and Mete in a second. It's like,
No, that's not happening.
yeah, do you know what this
People
kid
don't.
does?
It's like they associate the name with something else. It's like they're not seeing what they're doing out there on the ice, what they're producing offensively. It is
Yeah,
absolutely fire out there.
man, he's my guy. Who's yours?
So for the Winnipeg Jets, I would love me some Nikolai Ehlers. He has been on fire lately here. But Mark Scheifele, I fucking love Mark Scheifele, man. He is one of the. I don't know how you put him outside your top 10 centers in the league. He does it all, responsible defensively, and then the face-off dot. And he's skilled, and he'll make the odd skill play and the skill snipe here and there. But he's the type of guy, like a cut from the same cloth as Jonathan Toews. Just makes the right decisions out there. He's a true number one center.
Did you see his quotes when
No.
I think it was on Austin Matthews? Was it injuries or was it like a hit or something stupid? And he was like, "Oh yeah, Toronto media must be back at it again."
Yeah.
We restarted, but it was something with Toronto media, and I laughed my ass off about it.
Yeah. I love seeing that too because it like the Leafs, the focus isn't in the right place. So I love seeing that from Mark Scheifele. And the other thing about the Winnipeg Jets is, they got the wingers, Blake Wheeler. I mean, I've always thought of him as a great leader. It's interesting the stuff that's coming out about with him and Patrick Laine, and they do lose Laine, but they get Pierre-Luc Dubois. So now they have one of the best, lineups down the middle of the ice in the Canadian division here. Scheifele, Dubois, Stastny, Adam Lowry is a fucking beast too. But Dubois could come in there and just be an absolute game changer for them.
Matt, don't forget one more player on center ice in Winnipeg. Nate.
Oh, Mr. Uncle Nate Thompson.
He's on the shelf right now, I think, and
Yeah.
he's hurt. But yeah, no, that team, like, I mean, we can say what we want about Winnipeg attracting talent and everything like that, but if you're so I'm one of those people. I mean, I think it's maybe because I'm from Halifax, same as you. And I mean, we don't have pro teams. We kind of you jump on the Mooseheads, you love them, but when you get players that want to be there, and again, like this is more us projecting on Winnipeg as a pro team, but people like the Shifleys want to be there. Wheeler wants to be there. Bufflin didn't. He had other problems. He left. Dubois is now there. But like when you have that core that wants to play there and wants to win there, all of a sudden now you're like, and I'm a huge fan of Winnipeg. Like I have a Winnipeg Jets jersey. When they came back, I was pumped. I'm like, I'm buying that fucking jersey. I want it. I want to be part of this. But like Shifley, Dubois as your top two centers,
That's
and
just
then you have Stastny on the third line. I'm talking about Montreal's depth. Well, there you go. There's your you want to realize and don't even those people that say Dubois is trash because he. I mean, I don't like Dubois mailing it in crap because Tortorella's not a bad coach.
no.
Torts is torts.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the mail in crap when. But again, I didn't like take it as like, oh, he's no longer worth because he did that. I don't like it. We brought Drouin in. I think it's hypocritical for us to say Dubois is less of a player after Drouin sat out for what, half a year?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So I'm not going to go on that train. Like, not happening. But Dubois is now in there, and he is going to be fucking rolling in Winnipeg. I wish the fan base was back because a player like that would just be like fired up. That arena is ridiculous. I hear like just
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
And then
but
you look at their defense, and it's like they're top heavy, with Pionk and Morrissey, and that you might say they have some depth issues there, but they still get the job done somehow.
Oh, yeah.
It shows the coaching of Paul Maurice back there.
Yep.
Nathan Beaulieu rocking it out on the Jets decor too. I love that he's carving out an NHL career for him, whether it's
Yep.
a bottom pair tough defenseman or not.
Yeah,
Love him seeing that.
I'm glad you said that because we saw his toughness because he took on any comer like and
Oh yeah.
he can fight.
Yeah.
Him and his dad could fight too, from what I remember. If there was a few little police reports if I remember going on back in the day. Nate and Daddy Beaulieu, but I mean like he's a tough customer. He's a fucking tough customer, and everyone thought Tenorti was the tough guy, but Beaulieu can throw and no problem at all. Like he fought Lucic last year in the playoffs.
Wild.
He didn't win, but he went for it, and it was kind of like
Many people win against Lucic.
they
I'll
don't.
give him that.
I just remember my facial reaction was just like,
Yeah, I bet you Lucic's hockey fights record be interesting to look at his win percentage because
oh
he
man.
dominates.
Since Commissaric, I mean, we watched that one firsthand. We brought in George Larac because of it. Anyway, but Beaulieu, I'm so glad to see an ex-Hab defensive prospect flourish in a different market, stay there, do well. He wasn't a bust. He wasn't a bad prospect. He wasn't a bad pick. Just at the time wasn't right. Move on.
That happens.
He's doing well.
Yeah.
But Pionk, man, Pionk and Morrissey. I mean, if you ever see my hockey fantasy teams, I have both of them for some reason, which was probably a poor decision. But anyway, I'm a huge fan of Morrissey. I love Josh Morrissey. Just that, like, and he played. Did he have one leg? Like, he played on one leg last year. Did he have an injury? Like, he plays through it, and the kid's just like, he's a special player. And I think if he was in Montreal, you'd absolutely love him. But Winnipeg's a tough place to just want to go and live, let alone play. And I do feel for them, but the players that want to be there and like put their ass on the line and like put their whole heart and soul into it, like they deserve the best. And I can't hate Winnipeg. That makes sense. I cannot hate them.
Yeah, and that's one team we have not faced yet, so that'll be interesting to see that matchup too. That's another one that could be, like we're calling them a wild card as a team. That could be another rivalry that really sparks between the Habs and the Jets, and I'd love to see it. It's so strange, normally enjoying and like liking, genuinely liking all these teams, and now they're like a severe division rival. It's such a blast.
It's sorry everybody, ignore what I said. Fuck Winnipeg. They're our rivals now.
Exactly.
No,